While we're waiting for the chimney to get hot and our coals that we're going to put on top of our fire, or on top of our other coals to get ready, we're going to go ahead and build with the charcoal that we have, the remaining charcoal in the bag, and some wood chunks, the fire that we're going to use the rest of the time. When we've talked to different people about doing this, one of the things that has come across most of the time is you don't want to just put wood on top of the charcoal, but you want to intersperse wood in with the charcoal layers. And one of the things is we're lighting this, again, we are going to use the wood or the charcoal that's over in our chimney that's being lit. I would recommend that you do something like that, using something that is like lighter fluid or even something like a sterno or something like that. Always is going to leave you some off flavors. It's going to give you an opportunity to have some different types of burns and things. When we're trying to slow smoke in something like these water cookers, we really don't need all the charcoal lit at one time. We just need a small amount of it and let it burn over a number of hours to do what you do anytime you're doing barbecue, which is low and slow cooking. So the recommended way to do this is to add some amount of charcoal. Go ahead then and intersperse some wood chunks in different areas of the charcoal. We'll add some more charcoal. To fill the ring. Then we'll add some more wood so that as the charcoal burns down, we'll have more wood along the way to increase the amount of smoke that we'll have throughout the the cooking process. One of the things that the guys that make these smokers has told us they don't necessarily recommend that you have to get the wood chunks wet because they're going to dry out as you're cooking or as the heat goes through there. So it really doesn't do very much good for you to do that. I know some people like to do it. If you do, that's fine. But this will allow us to have smoke throughout the process. In just a minute, as our chimney gets done, we'll add that heat, those lit coals, on top of what we've got built here, and that will then we'll start to get to where we're regulating temperature. Okay, now that our coals are white hot and we have the chimney completely full of hot coals, we're going to add it to our charcoal and wood combination that we already have down in the ring, down in the bottom of this smoker. We want to try to keep as many of those as we can right up on the top. So that they'll just burn down through as the charcoal beneath it starts to catch. Some of it will fall out of the ring, and that's okay. We got our hot charcoal up on top. It's going to go ahead and burn through. I want to get to where I can control the heat pretty quickly here. So we're going to go ahead and put the other pieces of the smoker together. So we have the large ring that sits over the top of the firebox. And you notice that it does have a door on there in case we do want to add more charcoal later. that you can do that without disrupting the heat. I like these because they don't seem to have a need for a lot of different charcoal. And one of the things that's always said is, if you're looking, you're not cooking. So the more we can keep this together and not have a lot of charcoal or a lot of heat escaped after we get it together is the best. The next step, down in the bottom, we're going to put a bowl that's going to hold some water. Not all the smokers have a water cooker or use water. This one does. It allows us to put some water in there, keep humidity somewhat high in the environment while the meat is cooking. It helps to dissolve some of that collagen, connective tissue, all the things that cause the brisket to be hot or to be tough. And so we do that by putting this in there. We can do this and add the water to it, so that then we'll go ahead and let that start to heat up, and it'll disappear over the cooking process.
Is it also?
I'm going to go ahead and add some water. Just be sure it stays in the bowl and doesn't put your fire out. Some of the wood's already beginning to cook, and we can tell that because we got a lot of smoke starting to appear here. This smoker has 2 racks, so it has one that sits deep down by the bowl, and another that sits on the top. Since we're only doing one brisket today, I'm going to go ahead and just use this top rack to put our brisket on. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. Obviously we don't have any meat on here quite yet. This smoker has holes in the top and several holes in the bottom so that we can regulate heat. It also has a thermometer on the top of the lid. And so before I even put the meat on there, I'm going to go ahead and start to get this heat regulated the way I want it. That's going to depend a lot upon how much wind we've got going on, what the temperature is outside, all those kind of things. So every time you use this, you need to be sure you get your heat set the way that you want it. And most of the time, the guys are grilling or barbecuing somewhere around 225 to 250 degrees. Some like to do that just a little bit hotter, and that's okay as well. But we're going to look, the temperature's already rising on this. We're already at 150 degrees. It won't take very long, and we'll be able to have a temperature that we can start to regulate a little bit.